Do you ever feel like you're looking at your life but not truly seeing it? It's disorienting when your own reflection feels unfamiliar, like you've drifted too far from who you once were. The Eyes Within Eyes helps you rediscover clarity by teaching you how to see yourself with deeper, more honest vision. There are moments in life when sight alone is not enough. When the world looks familiar, yet everything inside you feels foreign. When you stare into the mirror and realize you're not seeing your reflection, you're seeing the distance between who you were and who you are still becoming. It was on such a day that the traveler walked into the desert of shifting light. The horizons shimmered in ways that made the air itself seem uncertain, as though reality was learning how to breathe again. He had come seeking clarity, yet every step blurred the edges of the world. The sand beneath his feet moved like memory, rising and falling with the weight of unspoken truths. Every grain carried a story he had once ignored, and the wind whispered questions he was not sure he was ready to answer. Hours passed in silence until he reached a place where the dunes parted and revealed a massive stone arch. Carved into its surface were eyes, hundreds, maybe thousands, all looking inward, all looking outward, all seeing something different. He stepped closer. Some eyes looked ancient and tired. Others burned with a curiosity that felt almost childlike. A few reflected his own face, but not the face he carried today, the face of a younger self who once believed the world was simple. At the center of the arch was a single inscription: "You cannot understand the world until you learn to see yourself with more than your eyes." The traveler reached out and touched the stone, and the desert vanished. He stood inside a vast hall, made entirely of mirrors, but none of them reflected him. Instead, each mirror held a memory, a fear, a longing, or a version of himself he had refused to look at. In one mirror, he saw the friend he had failed to comfort. In another, the moment he hid his truth to avoid judgment. In another, still, the version of himself he pretended to be just to feel accepted. Each reflection was honest. Each reflection was painful. Each reflection was necessary. He stepped toward one mirror that shimmered more brightly than the rest. It showed him standing in the present, tired, guarded, uncertain, yet beneath the uncertainty was something unbroken, a quiet, pulsing spark that refused to die. As he watched, the spark grew. Every fear that surrounded it began to soften, as though understanding itself was dissolving the edges of his wounds. Then the mirrors began to change. They no longer showed him isolated versions of himself. They showed him connected ones. How his anger was tied to old hurt, how his compassion was rooted in his own longing to be seen, how his silence had been a shield he built when the world became too sharp. Each mirror revealed a truth he had forgotten. He was not defined by a single moment, or a single mistake, or a single identity. He was the sum of all the eyes within him, the ones that feared, the ones that hoped, the ones that grieved, the ones that believed, the ones that believed. The hall brightened, and the mirrors transformed into a single, vast surface. For the first time, he saw himself whole, not perfect, not broken, but beautifully evolving. A voice rose around him, neither loud nor soft, neither gentle nor stern. It simply was, as if truth itself had learned to speak. True sight is the courage to look inward without turning away. When you can see yourself clearly, you will finally see the world as it truly is. Light flooded the hall, and the traveler found himself back in the desert of shifting air, standing before the arch of watching eyes. But now, the eyes looked different. They felt familiar, as though they were his own. He closed his eyes and breathed deeply. For the first time, he felt seen, not by the world, not by those who misunderstood him, but by the quiet, steady presence within that had always waited for him to return. When he opened his eyes, the desert no longer blurred. The horizon was clear. The path ahead was no longer frightening, because the traveler understood that clarity does not come from the world. It comes from the courage to see yourself with the eyes within your eyes. And with that understanding, he stepped forward, not into certainty, but into truth.